Hello everyone, it's Leo, and I'm here today to talk about the last episode from Ranmaru, episode 12. I'm freaking out, my heart is beating faster. What was this? What just happened? Anyway, I just want to say that since this is the last episode, in this video I want to talk about the last episode itself and not the series as a whole. But I really want to do another video to talk about this series as a whole. So if you have any questions towards the plot or something you were wondering, or theories, ideas, about the whole show and about the whole season that you want me to address in a specific video, please leave in the comments because maybe I can add a little bit more to the conversation and we can talk and we can theorize and we can gather more love for Fairy Ranmaru, because what a ride this has been. Anyways, episode 12, last episode, I was very scared that they wouldn't be able to close all the loose ends. And for the most part, I think they did a very good job in bringing the series to a closure. So we start the episode with a group transformation. Finally, we see the five of them fighting together. This was something I've been waiting since the first episode. And they transform together. They sing the opening song. It was very nice they put it into the opening. And I noticed something. I only noticed it in this episode. When they are after they transform, they finish the sentence by saying like fairy of something. And all of the characters, they present themselves as yosei, the Japanese word for fairy. Takara doesn't. He calls himself fairy. So there's this difference between Takara and the other four. I don't know why, but I thought it was an interesting thing to point out. So right at the start, we see Hojo destroyed. He barely survived, and it was nice seeing Juka healing him with the other two cute fairies. And he gave Ranmaru a clock. That clock is going to be very important for one specific detail that I wondered about last episode. And he gave that clock to Ranmaru, and then they go to find the queen. Something interesting about that scene was that all of them were able to transform using the queen's power. I mean, they all need something to trigger the power for them to transform into fairies, it seems. And they all used the queen. In every single episode, we see them transforming by themselves. Now we see them all transforming together using the same source of the power. I thought that maybe like they needed to have like a deeper connection with the person they were having a relationship with, and then they had to kiss to gather the power to transform. It doesn't really seem that it's like that. It feels like they just did it because it was how the series was built to be and written to be. But they could all transform using the same source or the same woman that one of them was saving, for example. And so we see that Sirius is attacking the queen and they all arrive there. And there was something very important at that moment, because for all we knew, the person who destroyed the fairy world was Sirius. But it was not. It was actually Betelgeuse, Ranmaru. Yes. And right at that moment, it was very clear. Ranmaru didn't say it out loud, but I started freaking out already because it was very clear that Ranmaru, or Betelgeuse at the time, had feelings for Sirius. And he was very sad that Sirius was, attacking the queen and breaking up the duo with him. And so he was going to be without Betelgeuse, without Sirius. And so, at that moment, it was like, oh my god, yes, the thing we've been theorizing and wishing it was true, it was actually true. He didn't outright say it, but it was clear enough. And we also saw that it was kind of Ranmaru who destroyed everything because of the intense way he was fighting against Sirius. And Ranmaru even sacrificed himself because of all the pain he was feeling. And that was why he was wondering what was love right at the start of the first episode, because that was something that he was feeling. And the way I interpret this part is the following. I think that Ranmaru was supposed to feel love, and love is supposed to be something good. But at that time, the love he was feeling was bringing him so much pain that he started to wonder, what is love actually? What is this feeling that is bringing me so much pain? Is this really love? And it was. But it ended up bringing the downfall of the whole fairy world, which we kind of learned more details later on. And so they were ready to seal the queen, but she used Homura's feelings to stop them. It was very nice. Because usually what we have in Magical Girls is something very centered in the main character. And I thought that this was all going to be centered in Ranmaru. It was not. Last episode we learned that there was something Homura didn't know. And the queen used this information to break their synchrony and to make them stop. And at that time, I started freaking out already because we had a Homura and Uru moment, and we finally know what Homura didn't know, which is Uru's mom was responsible for his death. And we already knew this, but we didn't know if Homura knew the details or not, and now he knows. But I thought that Homura was going to be angry at Uru, but what he was feeling was disappointment in himself because he let his emotions get the best of him. And so Uru started talking to him and explaining what actually happened between their parents and all that love they were feeling for each other. And I think that one of the interesting parts about that was how Homura was afraid of showing his emotions because fire can hurt and can burn other people. And Uru said that this fire was something so warm and so good for his mom that made her happy for the first time. Like, it was something that she never experienced before with her actual husband. And so that warmth that Homura has is the same that his father had. And he could understand how his mother felt because his mother was feeling overwhelmed by the amount of emotions that member of the fire clan has. And I really like this because, you know, fire, always very intense and it could always hurt you, but depending on the way that fire is presented, it can be a source of warmth, of safety. Knowing that Uru was feeling the same thing as his mom, and at that moment they showed that scene from episode 8, I think, I don't remember the number exactly, but that scene that Homura comforted Uru, and Uru understood that that fire that Homura has can be very comforting. And he started understanding his mom's feeling, and he started feeling the same way. At that moment, I started freaking out when I was watching it. I don't know about you, but I started... And one side of my brain was like, it's happening! Kiss, please! Kiss, 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 kiss! Where's the kiss? Where's the kiss? And the other side of my brain was like, stop thinking about that. You're gonna get disappointed. There's not gonna be a kiss. They're not gonna kiss. It's not gonna happen. They kissed. Like, actually. Uru just gave him a kiss. What a moment. I was not expecting to see that. I was not expecting for them to focus on Homura and Uru in this last episode, but they did. And what a beautiful scene, and what a beautiful way of Uru coming to terms with his emotions. He is an Aqua clan member. He doesn't really know how to deal with that. And there's like this just feeling and everything, and emotions are part of the fire clan, the Ignis clan. And now they are together and they kiss. Oh my god. And the way he told him, like, this means that I forgive you now, and he passing the fingers on his lips. I screamed. I literally screamed, and someone that was here with me in my house came to me and was like, what's happening? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm not okay. What a moment to be alive. At the same time, we saw Betelgeuse still fighting against, or Ranmaru, still fighting against Sirius. It was an intense fight. They were trying everything they could. We also saw the real form of the queen. I forgot to talk about that. The queen looks stunning. She looks like a bee. I really like her real form, like maybe her fairy form, I don't know. But they said it was her real form. I really loved it. And at that moment, Betelgeuse was not being able to fight against Sirius. He was not being able to match Sirius' powers. And then we go to another scene and we start seeing the other 4 fairies. And that was a beautiful scene with them, with their parents. We see Homura with his dad, and his dad talking about the passion and justice, bringing justice and punishment with love. Uru's parents talking to him as well, talking about how he has to lead, how he has to be a leader, a good and just leader, also with love. Jiuka's parents talking to him about how he must always love nature. Even when nature isn't good to him, he has always to love nature. Also, Takara's parents, that was very surprising actually. And Takara's parents, I was expecting to only see his mom because his dad, like, he didn't really have a big connection with his dad as far as we know. And we saw both of them talking to him and how he must always fight corruption You must always remain impartial to everything that goes on and lead with impartiality the fairy world. And at that time, we also saw Betelgeuse getting the best of Sirius in his fight. He was getting killed by Sirius, and Sirius even told him, like, I love you. But then Betelgeuse kissed him, just like their performance, and it was a callback to that. And at that moment, he was able to unlock the truth behind the love relationship that Sirius had. That was a very interesting and beautiful scene. This episode was very artistic, very pretty. Visually, it was a treat all the time. That was an interesting moment. Last episode, we thought that she was actually playing him, but she wasn't. She was trying to protect him because she was sick and she knew she was going to die soon, and she didn't want to get involved with him because of that. And so that is the true reason that she left him behind. And this new perspective over Sirius' story is kind of interesting. That also ties into the Queen's story, because it seems that the Queen actually knew this, but she never really used this against Sirius. And she even tried to frame herself to make him feel like she was the one who killed her, and it really wasn't. And she was not afraid to take the blame for it, which started the Queen's redemption scene, which was also interesting. I felt like they didn't really try to play her as this good and just queen. Like, they really showed her flaws in that moment. Like, since the fairy world was growing and becoming bigger and becoming stronger, they needed more and more and more and more attachment. She couldn't handle it herself anymore. So she really felt free when everything crumbled. And even though it was bad, she also felt free because she was let go of that big burden. But at the same time, she was feeling very lonely. That was when Hojo came back to her. And here's where I think the clock really plays a big part in it. It wasn't really explained what that clock was, but what happened was Hojo was a child and the Queen was an older woman when they met. And what happened was when Hojo came back, he came back looking older. And she reversed time. She looked younger. So both of them took different forms completely. And I thought that time had passed for Hojo. But it was not the case. He used the clock to change the time and appearance that he was going by. And so time probably didn't really pass much from how the fairy world was destroyed and now. And so that was interesting, I think. And Hojo did this because he was in love with the Queen and he wanted to stay by her side, and maybe an older form would match her better. But she was getting a childish form because she was feeling completely hopeless and by herself, so it matched more what she was going through. That was also a nice thing that they showed. And as I said, I feel like this whole part of the Queen, they were able to open her heart and everything and heal her in a way. She felt sorry and she asked for forgiveness for everything she did, especially to Ranmaru, or Betelgeuse, and Sirius. And she was repenting. She was trying to repent. But I still feel like it was not enough. You know, for every bad thing she did, she really needed some sort of bigger punishment. But no, she just went back to being the Queen. And now she released all of that attachment that she got. And the fairy world is now healed again. And I thought that that scene of our 5 main fairies, or 4 main fairies actually, talking to their parents, the illusion of their parents, was gonna be for something. Because I thought they were gonna be the heads of their families now. It didn't happen. They are actually coming back to Earth and they're gonna stay on Earth to collect more attachment to the fairy world. And Uru even says, like, we're not ready. We still need to achieve more for us to become the heads of our families. But I think that everything we saw in those 12 episodes would guarantee their positions. But, well, not really. They're still coming back to the human world, and they're still going to be in the bar. They're still going to get attachment and help the humans. This is something that the Queen has stated as well. And Sirius's part was also important. Now he is sure that that woman he loved in the past loves him as well. Sakura bloomed all around when he finally recognized that, and he was very happy. But the main thing about that was, for me, that Ranmaru was able to finally come to terms with his emotions and tell him that he loved him. What a beautiful scene that was. A little sad for Ranmaru because Ranmaru isn't really being reciprocated in those feelings. Unfortunately, Sirius loved another person, and we don't see Sirius, saying something towards his feeling. He was just feeling like, now I understand you, Ranmaru, but he wasn't saying he loved him back or something like that. That's very unfortunate for Ranmaru. But I'll take Uru and Homura. What a sweet couple. What a sweet couple. So basically at the end of Fairy Ranmaru, we see that the guys are going to keep on Earth. They're still going to try and help humans. And they're still following the 10 laws. That's so stupid. Like, that part for me made absolutely no sense. We know that the queen doesn't really pay attention to the laws and she doesn't really care about them. But she reinstated the laws at the end. And again, this makes no sense over what happened in this episode. Like, they don't need the laws. They need to work for the fairy world, and they're doing this now, not only for the fairy world, but for the humans as well, because they want to help the humans. Why do you need the laws? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. No, that part, no. So, overall, episode 12, wow. Uru and Homura, like, I'm willing to give Fairy Ranmaru a 10 just because of those two. Like, what a moment. I really liked it. This episode was very artistic, was very pretty visually. I really, really think it was incredible. And I only have problems with those two things. One, the laws are reinstated. And two, that they didn't become heads of the clans. And that makes no sense when you see that scene of them talking to their parents. Like, that scene was there for a reason, and that reason didn't play out. But apart from that, I think that episode 12 was grand. What a way to end Fairy Ranmaru, and what a way to say goodbye to this series. I don't want to say goodbye. Please announce a second season. Please, please, give us a second season of Fairy Ranmaru. But there are still lots of things to say, and I want to gather all my thoughts of the series as a whole in one video, and it's coming. But anyways, it's over now, and I don't want to say goodbye. How did you feel about episode 12, and how do you feel about Fairy Ranmaru as a whole? Please leave a comment. Let's keep talking. I'm not ready to say goodbye to this series. I grew attached to it. I love it. Anyways, I just want to take this time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel. If you are a member, I really appreciate your support and that you believe and stand by Magical Cinema. Thank you very, very much. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.